those guys who are selling cars, they will always try to display a sense of urgency, like how quickly you must pay for that car before someone buys it. That, please, is a trap. Don't fall into it. The goal of today's video is for us to discuss 10 points that all of us must be aware in the journey of buying a car in Kenya in 2024. And this video is for everyone. It doesn't matter if you own a car already, because even car owners need replacement. And for instance, if you keep your car for 10 years and then you want to go back to the market to sell it and buy another one, it can be quite challenging because it is not a process that maybe you have undertaken in the recent past. For the first time car owners, this is a perfect video for you. And why I'm saying this video is for everyone, it is not only for those who are ready to buy a car, but it is for anyone who is desiring to buy a car. And I know that 2024 is a big year of elevation. I know most people will be blessed, and unless you have made a decision not to own a car, I still believe that it is within everybody's reach in this year to purchase one. And that is why I want to discuss with you 10 points about the car buying process that you all must be aware in 2024, so that you can ensure that your need is fully satisfied by the time you make that payment for the car, and also to ensure that you don't lose money in the process. So let us start with point number one. Point number one is that you all must understand that car is no longer a luxury. So that mindset of people viewing car owners as rich people is long time gone. A car is actually a basic need. If you are a family person, a father or a mother with a family of 2 or 3 people, you can bear me testimony, you can be a witness that a car will bring you a lot of conveniences and a lot of cost saving. People think that car maintenance is expensive or fueling a car is expensive. It is not expensive at all. Do the math. Take your paper, see how much money you pay when you travel to the village and you come back, and how much money you use paying for matatus and public transport compared to how much money you use with your car if you are the one driving. Admissible, it might be 10%, 20% more, but that 20% or 10% more will pay for convenience. Okay? Let us now go to point number 2. Point number 2 is that please buy your car as early as possible. All signs have shown that international currency, that is euro and dollar, will not stop to be stronger against the Kenya shillings. That means that on that aspect, the Kenya shilling will continue to be weak, and you will need more money to buy what you used to buy before within the same amount of dollar or euro. Secondly, we know that since the COVID time, global supply chain was in a way destabilized. I have discussed it before that factories in a way reduced their employees. They increased what we call the lead time, meaning that if you are buying a brand new car from the factory, it takes more time to build it than it used to take before COVID. And even people who are in logistic and shipment, they will tell you that nowadays for you to book a space in a ship, it will take more time for that good to arrive than it used to arrive before COVID. So what I'm trying to say that in the whole manufacturing process and the global supply chain slowed down, meaning that the demand for second-hand car went a little bit up. Why? Because people who are buying new cars are taking more time with their old car before they buy the new one. I hope it is making sense. That means that a guy in Japan will sit on his car for 10 years instead of 8 years. So that's why I'm telling you, you must buy your car the earliest possible, because prices will not go down. Point number 3. Okay? If you are intending to buy your car, please ensure that you desire to learn the whole process of car ownership and car buying process. Learn how due diligence is done. Learn how road test is done. Learn how to detect a car with an issue. Learn how to ask all the relevant questions so that you make sure that you earn you reveal any information about that car that could be hidden by those who are selling it. Try to investigate on how cars are bought, places from which cars are bought. Can you import directly from Japan? What is the process? What is the cost? What are the pros and cons? Make sure that you reserve some time to learn that process yourself. I know there are people who walk around with someone to help them through the process, but they can only support you as much. So much decision that are made about car buying process should be made by the person buying. Even if you rely on someone to help you through the process, you must make sure that you understand the process yourself, so that you will be the person who will press the final button to say that the process is complete and I am making the payment out of your own decision that is well informed. Point number 4. Please don't buy your car or don't pay for that car to please anyone. And by pleasing anyone, I don't mean the people around you, I don't mean your circles, I don't mean your family or your friends. I mean, don't buy that car to please the person who is selling it to you. You will realize that the process of car viewing or the car road testing or the whole walk around through a car before you buy, it's so much time consuming for yourself and also for the person buying to you. Sometimes when you go to view a car, it will take you up to 3 hours to complete the viewing, the discussions, the road test. And maybe at the end of the road test, you feel that that car does not 100% meet all your expectations. But the guy who is selling to you will start to show some pittiness. He will start to look somehow sad, and he wants you to revert the favor by buying the car, because he has invented so much time showing you around the car, taking you for a road test with his own fuel, and you feel to some point compelled to buy that car because the guy has given his all. Please don't fall into that trap. It is something that is very frequent, and people have made wrong decisions based on that kind of sales strategy. Those guys are very, very much aware of what they are doing. So please don't feel sorry for anyone. And if you feel that the salesperson has done a good job and the car is not good for you, you can give him 1,000 or 2,000 shillings and tell him to have some tea, and tell him that that car is not the right fit for you. But please don't fall into that trap. The next point is determine your appetite for luxury. Okay, so a lot of cars can serve the same purpose, and I believe that most people who live within town area, let's say Nairobi or areas that have good access roads, can satisfy their car needs with the basic minimum car, a car that would go even for 800,000. So any car that is more expensive than that will be informed by your appetite for luxury. So in as much as we say that car is not a luxurious asset, it still comes with a lot of aspects of luxury. So decide within yourself how much luxury, comfort, and other things that come with cars that you want, more than just the basic mobility from point A to point B. That is very important, so that you don't just buy a car today and then maybe 3 months down the line you feel like you want to upgrade so that you can get a car with more features. And this process of trading in, you give your car and buy another one, will cost you some money in resale. So make sure that you completely determine your appetite for luxury, so that the car you are going to buy can be informed by the features that you want to see in there beyond just transportation. So I believe this is point number 5. Point number 5 is know where you want to buy your car from. There are so many places where you can buy your car from. You can buy it from showroom, total brand new. You can buy it straight from Japan or from the UK. You can import it directly into your account. You can buy it from the car yard. You can also buy second hand or locally used from individuals. So before you even once you have your money ready, make sure that you decide where you want to buy your car from. You can also consider, a blend of all those places where you can buy from. But one thing you need to know is that where you buy your car from will be determined by how quickly you get access to the money you need to buy your car. I know that some people have access to the full amount that is required immediately. So if you get your car tomorrow, you can pay full amount and go with it. Others, want to purchase that car on loan. They need bank financing. They need, they need higher purchase. So by knowing how ready your money is, that will determine where you will buy your car from. That is very important, because you cannot import a car on loan. You cannot also buy, a second-hand car on loan, because most individuals will just want to sell the car. You pay them full amount, they go. So make sure that you know where you want to buy your car from, determined by how ready is your money. The other point here is, please, this is said so many times by everyone, don't transact in cash. Pay through digital transaction or bank transfer in a way that can be traceable. But paying digitally does not mean that you cannot get conned, does not mean that you cannot lose your money. It simply means that you can make reference to that payment if need be. So make sure that you have done your due diligence completely, because it doesn't cover you on anything. If you are paying to a fraudulent person through cash or through digital payment, your money will get lost. Okay, so that is a simple and easy point to remember. The other point is that please give yourself at least 2 months. If you want to buy a car, and let's say you have your money ready, okay, you have your cash, you have everything, don't be in a hurry to buy your car. Give yourself at least 2 months. Make sure that you view at least, I tell people, at least 5-6 cars. Okay, don't be enticed by the first car you view and be tempted to pay immediately. Always, for me, for instance, when I go to town to buy, a high value good, like a phone or a camera or something that cost me several thousands of money, I never ever buy from the first seller. I always ask prices, and several offers from various people who are selling the same thing or something of equivalent value. And once I get their best prices, I make a decision out of several offers that I have on my hands or on my table. And buying cars should be the same thing. Those guys who are selling cars, they will always try to display a sense of urgency, like how quickly you must pay for that car before someone buys it. That, please, is a trap. Don't fall into it. Even if you think that the car you have loved most, might be bought by someone else. If it is bought, it means it wasn't meant to be yours. But I don't mean that you should be delaying that process for no reason. Okay, ensure that you are doing it as quickly as possible, but ensure that you compare several offers for values so that you can make a decision based on the best price. Sometimes you might be very quick to make that payment, and then you move the next door or the next yard, and then you get an equivalent offer at a cheaper price. And my friend, you will feel like you want to scream, and you will have lost money on that aspect. So the last point that I want to discuss with you, I don't know whether we have reached point number 10, but this is what I want to tell you, is that you must do full due diligence. It is very easy to buy a car with defaults, as well as it's easy to buy a car that is almost completely perfect. Make sure that, as I mentioned, have a checklist of things that are non-negotiable in your own view. Okay, things that you must make sure that you conduct a test. Make sure that you go for a road test. It means 10 kilometers uphill and downhill, so that you can feel the functioning of the engine, you can feel the functioning of the gearbox, how seamless they are. Don't dismiss a car because it has a scratch on the door and you have missed so much things inside the engine or the wiring or other things that are more difficult to repair. In your view, put down a list with the help of an expert of things that must be functional in a car before you buy it. Okay, and also, if you want, you can put a list of things that are non-issues. People will dismiss cars that, as I have mentioned, based on things that you see from the outside, which in my view are not an issue. They are very easy to repair, but attention must be paid to things that are found inside. But the appetite for that risk depends on an individual, and that also will determine how much money you want to pay. So if you are making that purchase, please make a list of things that must be functional 100% in a car before you make a purchase. And also, of course, cars that are sold with some defaults, they will be selling at a better price.